now I'd really love to introduce Ian Murphy, a recent graduate from the University of Guelph and is currently at the Arboretum. Today he'll tell us about his capstone project, which was analyzing a 40-year-old gravel pit restoration project in the Arboretum grounds. Please take it away, Ian.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me today. It's really exciting to be here and talking with everyone. So yes, today I'll be talking about my work with one of the Arboretum's in-house restoration projects. And I'd like to start off by, again, thanking you all for being here. So as you mentioned, I am a recent graduate, and as part of my internship course and a capstone experience, I became involved with the gravel pit rehabilitation project. So right here, you can see, unlike the previous speakers, as you mentioned, the scale of this restoration project is much more local, and it's contained within the borders of the Arboretum itself. However, we hope that its impacts will be much larger spread. So here we have a short little video of a tour of locations. So beginning with a bird's eye view of the city of Guelph, and then zooming into the Arboretum, and then finally ending with the site of the rehabilitated gravel pit, which has been the focus of the research over the past year. So if you can see that there as long as the video went through, in the middle of these roads here is the gravel pit, and then the largest road in the back is Victoria Road. Sorry. Okay, so the gravel pit rehabilitation project is just one of the Arboretum's unique collections, and has represented a living laboratory that my fellow biodiversity classmates and I were lucky enough to explore through a scientific lens this past spring and summer. This 1 hectare actively naturalized gravel pit is located in the Arboretum along Victoria Road, adjacent to the old growth Victoria Woods and the new Godling Wildlife Gardens. The site was included in the original land purchased by the university with the intention of turning the worked out pit into a display collection of trees, shrubs, vines, a potential use for various disturbed soils in Canada, but especially suited for pit and quarry sites. In essence, this is creating a living laboratory, living demonstration of plants that can withstand severe conditions of aggregate. In doing so, hazards and environmental impacts of pits and quarries such as erosion, air and water pollution, and disturbed habitats can be reduced while returning the ecosystem to a functioning state. Over a 3-year period beginning in 1977, 86 woody plant species were introduced to the site. Species were selected for purposes such as agriculture, forestry, recreation, and wildlife habitat. A variety of planting techniques and amendments were used in the experimental site, such as different propagation techniques like direct seeding of trees and shrubs, or rooted and unrooting cuttings, as well as different mulching and weeding treatments. In the end, 4 distinct regions were shaped from the original pit, each with its own group of plants and planting techniques, highlighting different goals. So in Region 1, there was woody ground covers, Region 2, spraying shrubs and trees, Region 3, wildlife shrubs, and Region 4, herbaceous ground covers. So this image is a photo taken by Sarah Lowe, the research coordinator at the time, showing the site of the gravel pit prior to rehabilitation. In the photo, bare aggregate is exposed, emphasizing difficult conditions for plants to grow and to colonize the site. This next photo is a drone shot of the gravel pit in the summer of 2021, over 40 years after the gravel pit rehabilitation. There's a stark difference between these two images and the degree of vegetation which is present. And it's clear that some major changes have occurred over this time frame, which merits further research. But what exactly is it that I'm doing now, and why? So this year marks the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Arboretum and the University of Guelph, just the Arboretum, while also being part of the UN's Decade on Ecological Restoration. Therefore, the Arboretum has decided to revisit some of its older plant collections, such as the gravel pit rehabilitation project, that represent in-house restoration projects. Several questions guide the reopening of this project. 1, what are the major changes that have occurred over the last 40 years as the site is naturalized? What plantings survived, what didn't, and why? 2, what can we do to improve the site for the benefit of biodiversity and the environment? And 3, what important findings can we take away and apply to other similar locations that are scattered across the landscape? In order to begin answering some of these questions, I had to first understand the state of the ecosystem at the time it was left naturalized. To do this, I delved into archival materials of the project, scanning countless original records and summarizing them in more accessible formats. Another key goal of my work was to create an updated planning map and list for the site. I could easily map the plantings to maintain spatial relationships and establish a new baseline collection system by integrating my knowledge of GIS and some of the Arboretum's new technologies, such as the GPS tablet. So by digitizing this planting map, it allows me to locate original plantings on the ground without the aid of outdated maps. So this allowed me to create direct comparisons between the various years and measure attributes such as growth and mortality across the pit. By using the GIS with a tablet, I could assess the state and presence or absence of different plantings in the pit. On top of survival data, diameter at breast height was taken for each tree, and E-man tree monitoring protocols were used to record tree health and crown class. In the end, I was left with data on roughly 1,350 unique plants and was able to generate a new baseline planting map that can be seen on the right. Notice that many original plantings have now been obscured or limited by the many new colonies of the site. An additional biosurvey was done using a quadrant analysis in the pit where 50 2x2 meter plots were randomly laid out over the gravel pit with locations identified using the GIS. The sampling effort recorded both herbaceous and woody species across the site, and it was largely performed by biodiversity interns Kaylee and Casey. These interns are also participating in the biodiversity capstone course that will continue to address questions about the site. They're seen in the image on the left. So results. The bio-inventory completed between May and July 2021 found many mature trees and shrubs as original planting, plus many more established through natural colonization. 200 trees and shrubs from the original planting were identified, comprising 36 of the original 86 species planted. Some of the large trees still found on the site are Manitoba maple, silver maple, Siberian elm, eastern white cedar, black locust, and several populous species. Native trees of significance not included in the original planting, but now found on site are white elm, green ash, and the common hop tree. Native trees, however, are outnumbered by invasive trees and shrubs that colonize the site or were used in the original planting, such as common buckthorn, Rhamnus cathartica, glossy buckthorn, and a variety of honey locust species. However, there's large evidence of habitat utilization by a variety of migratory and non-migratory bird species, small mammals, insects, and amphibians, such as the common leopard frog seen on the right. So this image depicts a fallen poplar tree and indicates the harsh growing conditions currently in gravel pit. As you can see, the roots grow through pure rock and sand, and this is 40 years after the original rehabilitation. So although there's a thin layer of soil, which represents a success in itself, the few inches that managed to build up over the last 40 years highlights the speed at which these processes occur, and then therefore the importance of maintaining our soil resources so we don't have to continue this large process in the future. So in conclusion, moving forward with the project, we aim to produce a more specific analysis on what species survived, what didn't, and hopefully identify some general trends relating to planting method, amendments, mortality, and the history of invasions by non-native species. To highlight the importance of this work, all you have to do is look at from a bird's eye view at the city of Guelph, and you can quickly identify a large quarry site, the Guelph Dolime Quarry. This site is roughly the size of the entire downtown footprint and is currently in the process of being purchased by the city to initiate the rehabilitation project. By identifying factors such as those mentioned above, we can manage this unique collection in a way that best supports people in biodiversity, as well as apply these lessons both locally and globally to help heal a landscape scarred by extractive industries in this decade of ecological restoration. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. For more information, please reach out to me with the email below. Additionally, there's potential for overflow gravel pit tours today around 1 p.m. in case anyone would like to see the site in person. Thanks again.
Thank you, Ian.